You are once again about to enter the world of YouTube terms of service horror. Ladies and gentlemen, you know what they say about online bullying and harassment, right? If you see it happen, don't get involved. Trust in the inbuilt reporting, scanning, detection and AI systems of the platform it's happening on. Trust them to deal with it. Never intervene. Don't be a vigilante. Don't intervene. Never get involved. But when have I ever been the sort to just stand back and do nothing? Every now and again you need to put the war hat on and decide it's time to intervene. It's a thing about the standard bad actor on YouTube, ladies and gentlemen. They abuse and misuse all of the tools that are available to them on the platform. Today we're talking about community tabs and @mentions. My friend, Professor Curious, has found himself on the receiving end of a months-long harassment and abuse campaign from people that he has covered in the past, simply because they have an ability to abuse, harass, but more annoy him. @mentions, community tabs, features of YouTube that used to be locked behind subscriber counts, ladies and gentlemen, now available to access at 0 subscribers. A person can literally create a fake sock account on YouTube and use it to @mention and talk to people in community tabs. A small channel could start out and @mention PewDiePie every day in an attempt to gain subscribers and notice. I think this is maybe an idea that should have been rolled over a few more drawing boards before it was implemented onto the platform, but YouTube moves in mysterious ways. Prior to this, I believe the community tab section was only available to people who had 500 subs. Before that, there used to be something called a discussion tab on a channel, which channels could use to notify their subscribers of things, and as well as that, @mentions were unlocked to everyone, and that was gated behind a 500 subscriber count as well. You had to have spent time on the platform, you had to have built your channel up. You needed to essentially build the mountain first for the people to come to it, rather than simply just having access to all these features straight out of the gate. In looking through the settings, I don't even think that a channel needs to have a phone verification thing set up with YouTube, so people could literally just create channels for the purpose of abusing and harassing people without providing YouTube with any information outside of just a burner email address? That's not very smart. On YouTube's side, we're talking about the sort of thing that if something major did happen, like a death, a swatting, something like that, and the police had a subpoena to YouTube to get information about a channel that was spreading stuff through a community tab, and they said, oh well, all we've got is this burner email address, and like it's just got a fake name of John Smith 69 @gmail.com. Literally all that a person needs to use the community tab for abusive purposes. I did discuss this on the channel some time ago, around about a year and a half ago, when the @mentions was rolled out to channels with 0 subscribers. Ladies and gentlemen, YouTube has an @mentions feature. This was previously only available to channels with 500 plus subscribers. It's now being rolled out to channels with 0 subscribers. Now, ladies and gentlemen, I can imagine for larger channels, this is only going to become a spammy mess, whereas smaller channels who don't generally have much drama going on about them will generally be fine. I'm just curious as to whether this system is going to end up being a benefit to the community, or if it's going to be an abused feature. Well, I'm guessing with Professor Curious's experience, it seems like it's more an abused feature rather than a benefit to him. Also, the lighting of this video is an absolute and utter fucking mess. I honestly have no idea what's going on. I have two lights directly in front of me, the main room light's on, and I've also got my ring light kind of chilling out to the side as well. So, yeah, like, there's 4 lights here.
There are 4 lights!
And my lighting is still a fucking mess. I've been fucking about with camera settings, so I don't know how that's going to go. We're just kind of working it on the fly. I mean, it's eventually going to end up like something out of an Alchest Breach video.
Holy shit, it's the fucking Neon Light Brigade. God. Oh, fuck.
But that's enough with lighting story time with Uncle StooDogg. Let's just crack on with the main feature, shall we? So ladies and gentlemen, YouTube mentions is the worst idea in the history of ideas. Grab your butts and let's go to war. Oh yeah.
You know, the nice thing about this topic is every time I forget to talk about it, the problem persists and I'm reminded of it.
Well, that's the thing about dickhead bullies on YouTube. No matter how much you ignore them, they just don't fuck off.
I woke up this morning and was reminded that I should probably make this video at some point because the problem happened this morning when I looked at my phone, because I can't even ignore this problem without it happening anyway. So, YouTube mentions is the idiotic idea that somebody had where anyone can mention your channel in community tab posts or video titles.
I still think YouTube should have got a bit of community opinion on that one before they just implemented this feature. It's almost like YouTube is trying to be every other social media as well as being a video platform. It wants to be Facebook and Twitter and Reddit all at the same time as being just a video watching platform. You've got a blender, you've thrown in all the social medias you can think of, and you've added in a sort of Netflix and a sort of Spotify type music feature to the side of it, like building blocks.
Now, there are legitimate reasons why someone would want to do this, but 9 out of 10 times, the reasons that it's done is not legitimate. And basically what it is a free tool for shitty harassment channels which have no other purpose on this website than to antagonize the fuck out of people.
A spammer's tool.
In a platform and forum where they have to now be heard because you instantly get notified that they've mentioned you, but they do nothing else. They don't make videos, they don't elaborate or back up their points, they don't make anything of value. They just rant and scream into the dark. I'm of course talking about channels like Neat Lone Wolves, but there are other channels as well. One guy is a UTTP wannabe who constantly brings me and several other people up hoping for a reaction, and I'm honestly sure that me mentioning him even in passing is giving him a chubby so big that he'll struggle to walk for days, which is a risk I'm willing to take just to address the wider issue.
Now the thing about YouTube is that there used to be a block feature. However, I've noticed that the way that channels work, the about section where the block button used to be is no longer there. So you're not able to block people on YouTube anymore. But I don't think that had any bearing on the @mention system anyway. Not like on Facebook where if someone mentions you, you have a form of control over it, so it doesn't necessarily show on your Facebook wall, but YouTube has no form of sort of blocking these @mentions, so I mean, that it doesn't seem right to me for a social media platform to not have that sort of blocking feature in place, so that when it comes to what is essentially nuisance harassment, you just have to just have to deal with it, I guess. Oh well, nae luck is the YouTube sort of bottom level stance towards it.
The problem that I have with this whole thing about mentions is that combined with community tabs, it gives people an unlimited platform to libel you without end, and YouTube doesn't seem to see it as a problem.
YouTube doesn't see it as a problem yet, but how long is it going to be before a swatting or a death brings it to the attention of the Wall Street Journal whilst YouTube was asleep at the wheel and it triggers another adpocalypse? The same YouTube that seems to be suffering revenue-wise at the moment. I've noticed that my money is down. Not bothered too much about it, but since the SS Sniper Wolf doxing that guy, I've noticed that my revenue has been down 20%. Even though YouTube is asleep at the wheel and not taking notice, advertisers on the platform seem to be taking notice of these things. You know, it's the Boogie's gun, Sniper Wolf's doxing. What's next? Is it going to be a large swatting because of community tab rubbish? Someone posting up someone's address that they don't like, and then you know, things will just spiral on from there.
I have brought every single one of these to YouTube's attention at some point or another via the report button and via Twitter.
And I'm guessing that if you went to Team YouTube on Twitter, the response would have been, "Oh, sorry about that. Have you tried reporting it using the report button? We're just a robot. Beep boop." That's very probably what the response was. And I'm gonna fucking readjust this light because it's right in my goddamn face and it's fucking blinding me. Just because I want to, like, not be recording and have my video, like, dark as fuck and, like, I know. It's a me problem, and I shouldn't be fucking ranting in the middle of the video about it, but it's fucking pissing me off, right? Look at the video right now. It's not very well lit, but it's a bit brighter than it was. At the very start, it's like I was sitting in the fucking dark, but I think we're getting somewhere. Maybe I'm just a bit annoyed because the fucking light's right in my face and I feel like I'm being fucking interrogated or something. Fucking Clockwork Orange shit going on up in here. Anyway, back with the video.
Now, believe me when I say when it comes to reporting content, it's very rare that I do it.
Quite a fair stance to take. I know some people who would report virtually everything just because they don't like it, whereas Professor Curious actually only reports things if there seems to be a legitimate danger to people, or if it's really, really, really horrible and vile. We're going into the realms of child abuse levels of vile. That's when he starts reporting things.
But I've taken to doing it because honestly, I feel like this falls under the category of harassment.
And that's something that I would agree with. I would say that if someone is tagging him multiple times a day just because they're annoyed at his existence, that does fall under the category of nuisance harassment. Perhaps even stalking.
These people are having unwanted communication with me that is one way, and they are doing it to more or less antagonize me and nothing else.
Essentially a form of verbal rape. Now, free speech is all fine and well, ladies and gentlemen, but there doesn't seem to be any way or any kind of ability to stop unwanted free speech. Free speech is fine and well, but that also comes with the caveat of I don't need to fucking listen to it. YouTube has made a platform that does not have a fucking block feature. Are they fucking mental? That's fucking psychotic.
Now, it doesn't get to me on an individual level. Nothing said in these posts has ever made me think longer than 5 minutes after reading it, because it's so low effort and pathetic that I have no desire to even engage with it.
In fact, if anyone was to call him a stinky poopy bumhead, he would probably just use it as an outro for his videos. Might actually tag him and say that. No, I'm not going to, ladies and gentlemen. That is le sarcasm.
I've just completely been ignoring it for months. But even though I'm ignoring it for months, the problem still persists.
How's that feeling of knowing that you live rent-free inside of a troll's head?
And I've just reached a point where I just want to say how awfully stupid this problem is, and most of all, how pathetic YouTube is for letting it happen.
And also how stupid the perpetrators of these acts are. Gradually, an online sort of profile of them is being built up, and these posts are no doubt going through God knows how many AIs and things, and you know, I don't have that worry that sort of AI is going to take over the world or anything, because it doesn't know the difference between a penis and a car. But it was going through sort of human language models like that, and YouTube is using sort of these posts and things to train their AIs. Hopefully these idiots that are abusing and harassing Professor Curious, hopefully they get struck down either properly and deliberately by these bots, or they post in a dodgy link one day that the bot doesn't like and it takes action against them, much as what's happened to me in the past with perfectly innocent links in my channel descriptions. You know, getting a YouTube warning for a TubeBuddy link. So hopefully something happens with these idiots with their fucking cash apps and things like that, and the YouTube bot deletes them. And when it comes to the appeal process, like, YouTube doesn't do appeals, no matter how good and in well standing the appeal against anything is. They just say, sorry, but your channel's gone, bye. So hopefully something like that happens to these arseholes that are fucking him over.
YouTube is not even a platform that's as lawless as the Wild West. It's as lawless as that bit in RoboCop 2, where they basically turn RoboCop. Wobocop. Yeah, he's Wobocop. He's a completely crap version of himself, which is family friendly but achieves absolutely nothing, and just plods around the neighborhood, letting crimes happen because he's too busy picking up fucking flowers for kids, and he's too incompetent to even pursue criminals properly. But he can punish you if you don't go anywhere. So he can punish businesses for not paying certain taxes or whatever that are unimportant, but he can't stop murders or vandals from happening because, oh well, you know, that shit happened way too fast for him to deal with. So it's only people who are trying to make it through the world and occasionally make a mistake who get punished.
Case in point, YouTube disliking an accredited YouTube verified tool that is linked in description sections, TubeBuddy. You know, they were actually at YouTube's own conference recently, and YouTube put a strike against my channel for linking the tool in my description sections. Yeah, I appealed it. Yeah, I actually went to someone on Facebook who is a Google engineer, and he managed to get the warning taken off my channel. But if I didn't have contact with that guy, I would have been fucked. Also, that bit in RoboCop 2 is fucking hilarious. You are in a no smoking zone. You have committed a felony. Have a nice day.
And otherwise, these arseholes who are sat here day in and day out on what are basically burner accounts, or accounts that are so nothing that they could be replaced in 24 hours.
I don't understand how these fucking fannies can always be online. Like, do they never go away to fucking eat? Or, like, go outside to the shop or something? Like, I don't get it. I struggled to get my 10-minute fucking dailies in Star Trek Online. I struggled to get maybe an hour of Fallout New Vegas a day out of my computer, like, because I've got other stuff going on in IRL stuff to fucking do, you know. Like, I don't get how these idiots can just sit there and fucking fart about online and bug and harass people. Because the fact is, if they're annoying and harassing him, now this is behaviour that is, they're addicted to just making people fucking miserable because they're just cunts, right? And the fact is, there's not going to be just him. They're going to be fucking about with other cunts as well, and they're going to be like abusing multiple people on these platforms. So, like, I don't get it. Where does the time come from? Is it like that fucking thing that the dame in Harry Potter had, where she got like all the time to go to all the different lessons and that? Has that been invented in wherever these cunts are? Fucking Australia. It's always fucking Australia. It's where all the fucking arseholes come from. Hashtag not all Australians. Some are sound. But some are cunts.
Constantly screeching at everyone and forcing them to look at it by tagging them in posts in a way that they'll get a notification on their phone. These people, YouTube can't seem to do anything about, but if I called any of them out directly, if I said anything mean about them...
You'd be fucking kicked out of there at Warp 9, mate.
Oh yeah, they'd probably be able to do something then. They're the most pathetic form of law enforcement on any platform. They're powerless to help you, but oh, sure, they can punish you.
And that's the thing, these idiots sit there harassing and bullying you, and the second that you stand up for yourself, boom, you've crossed the line, you've went too far. They've reported your post because you stood up for yourself. He's bullying me. The guy that I've been harassing for the last 2 years, he called me a... Okay, I've spent like the last 10 minutes shouting and swearing down my microphone, and I can't think of something to say about someone. He's called me a big fat traffic warden bastard and cunt bag. He's called me a big floppy boob. Ban him. Take him out and have him fucking shot. Because I've been harassing him for months and he dared call me a boob. That kind of shit, you know.
But looking at the shit that people are able to just post about you unchallenged without it apparently violating the terms of service, because YouTube has absolutely no moderation.
The sort of shit that if you were a journalist and published it in a newspaper, you'd have a lawyer at your fucking office door about.
It really does baffle me why YouTube doesn't understand why people hate their fucking website. I mean, I'm not going to read any of them out, but if you actually look up the shit people have just been saying without feeling a need to prove it at all, it makes me question what the fuck YouTube is even doing with itself.
Sleeping? Fucking sleeping? And then if shit kicks off and ends up in the fucking newspapers, they just... fucking whoop, so how did that get past us? You know, it's just the same shit again that's been going on for like the last... Well, since way back when people were uploading copyright stuff, and then the copyright owners took notice, and that's fucking borderline piracy. So, is it? We're gonna have to take you to court over that. So, are you? That sort of shit. It's been a plague on YouTube since day one. I know, because I read about it. You don't come onto this platform without knowing a wee bit about its past. And this is just a repeating fucking cycle. It's just rolling on to its next fucking blunder.
Like the amount of times I've woken up to pretty serious allegations, and whilst these allegations have clearly been made up by morons who have absolutely no fucking leg to stand on and no one respects them, This is now in print on the internet, and literally, I can't do anything. And I find it ridiculous. And I also find it ridiculous if I said anything in retaliation, well, YouTube would lose their shit. I'm personally of the opinion that mentions needs to go away. And I also think that the community tab feature needs to be heavily moderated now.
Any Tam, Dick and Bob can go onto YouTube, come out with any kind of slanderous, libelous bullshit they want, and post it with no consequence. It's my belief that the @mention system, whilst it is useful, it's abused too much, and yeah, it needs to go away. As for the post system, that needs to go away as well. YouTube shouldn't be attempting to be Twitter and Facebook and Reddit, as well as being YouTube, if it can't control all of these features that it has. So downsizing, and once it's actually able to control everything, then think about implementing them. But this lawless Wild West that is the community post section, this train is speeding towards a cliff, like in Back to the Future, or the car is hurtling towards a crash, a major crash, and something shit's gonna fucking happen. It's really gonna fucking hit the fan one day.
I honestly think that posting shit about other people should really be looked at by YouTube as a problem, because this is a problem.
Yes.
There is no end to what people can and will post, endlessly crying about shit and making shit up. Apparently, people are saying that I'm X, Y, and Z because they tripped over a skateboard in the dark and I apparently put it there.
Gonna make a community tab post one day that I'll meet him and he's gonna accidentally put a beer in front of me and I'm gonna end up drunk and I'll have a hangover in the morning and I'm gonna blame him. It's his fault that I've got a headache. Sounds legit.
And for some reason, YouTube seems to take one look at this mess and not seem to think it's a problem.
Some stupid dumb bot that they've made has a look at the post and skips a beat and thinks this is fine and just discards the report altogether.
I honestly think that given that this is about my channel and its branding and my personal thing, I think that being mentioned in a post should allow me to have way more control as to whether or not that post is even allowed to exist.
I think within reason, yes. I think that that's the sort of thing that could be overly policed, overly controlled, but I think if people are saying absolute and utter lies and bullshit, then yeah, that goes into defamation territory, and there should be a form of defamation complaint system to go through to have things removed. Now, I know I'm kind of sounding a bit but shouldn't people have full control over things? The reason I'm thinking not full control is because things could be genuine critique, and then you go into the realms of brands copyright striking things just because they don't like them, or someone left a bad review. Fallout YouTuber Oxhorn was criticised in a fair use video and used the YouTube copyright system to deliberately and maliciously take down the fair use critique of him. That's the sort of things that I believe in. They should remain on the channel. And Professor Curious also believes in that stance as well. Fair use critique is fine. Lies, defamation and bullshit, that ain't so fine.
I honestly think that if YouTube will not moderate its own site...
Back to what I said before, if YouTube does not have the ability to moderate the posting system, it shouldn't have a posting system.
Then if you have been mentioned, tagged in a post, I think you should have every right to basically do what YouTube does to copyright holders. You should just be able to take these posts down and issue a strike.
I view that as perhaps too strong an action. However, I think that a notification saying you've been tagged in this, is this okay with you? And you say no, then it should go back to the person that posted it saying this person does not consent to being tagged. Remove the tag within 24 hours or you'll get a strike.
And then the other person should have to issue an appeal, and then YouTube should be able to get involved as a third party thing to determine whether or not this is actually, you know, libelistic bullshit or defamation. I think that this should be able to fall under the case of I should be able to take this shit down because it's defamation. It is just defamation. There's nothing else. There's not even shitty evidence to try and legitimize this shit. It's just schizo posting, which is apparently mailed directly straight to my face, and I can't even ignore it. Even blocking the people doesn't seem to work.
Even less so now that YouTube got rid of the blocking feature. Humanity doesn't need the ability to block other people. Everyone that goes onto YouTube is a sensible, reasonable adult. If only the world were so perfect.
The only way that I can do it is by basically, from what I understand, maybe there's a setting to turn this shit off.
According to the video that I'd made a few years back, Creator Insider does claim that such a function does exist. However, in today's ever-changing settings landscape of YouTube, I'm uncertain how to deactivate it. Having gone through the settings myself, I wasn't able to find the off switch for mentions. But, and Professor Curious will go on to say that that is quite a strong action, because he does get legitimate contact from people using that feature, myself included, but we'll get into that. Also, I need to fix my hair because it's sticking up at the back like a little chicken.
We've expanded mentions eligibility from 500 subscribers down to just 0, meaning that now all channels, regardless of subscriber count, can mention other channels and be mentioned in turn. Now you can change or turn off these notifications by clicking on Settings, then tapping on Notifications, Other Settings, and then Mentions.
Maybe less like a little chicken. This is what a little chicken looks like.
But there's two problems. One, I don't even know if that's going to work.
Lol, a YouTube feature working. Dude, you should be a comedian.
And two, if anyone tagged me for a legitimate reason, a good reason, or even a bad reason that is acceptable, I miss out on that because of these dicks ruining it for everyone. I don't understand why I have to miss out on a site feature because some people abuse it.
100% fair and valid comment.
You know how many, though, legitimate reasons I've been tagged? I've gone through all my mentions, and as far as I'm aware, I've had one from StooDogg.
That me.
Mentioning that I came up with an idea for a video.
StooDogg Directive 1. If you can't come up with an idea for a video, plagiarise from Professor Curious.
I have another from StooDogg when we did a crossover event.
This one's Snow White and the Seven Little Cunt. Snow White and the Seven Clever Boys.
I have one from... Oh, I have two from another channel who brought something up and wanted to bring it to my attention and crediting me for a meme. So that's 4. Bearing in mind, there's like... I think there's like 50 in here.
So what you're saying, out of the whole lot, about 90% of it is just rubbish. Spam.
And less than... Yeah, I'd say about 6 or 7 of these out of 50 are legit. Over the course of a year. Some of these are the same post again and again.
Spam.
And literally the person has said, I'm going to keep doing this over and over again because you've offended me.
I'm going to repetitively and maliciously spam you.
Through something I've not even fucking done. They're just too stupid to put 2 and 2 together and realise that wasn't me.
They're a fucking repetitive, malicious spammer that shouldn't be on the fucking internet.
Like, and obviously because Nice, I mean, I'm not gonna hide who it is. It's fucking Nice. Because Nice is too fucking idiotic to even open up a comments tab. I'm not even allowed to say, yeah, that wasn't me.
Now, this is something that I have an issue with. You're not able to block people on YouTube anymore. You're not able to block these messages and notifications. You're not able to stop them. However, the person who's putting them up is able to deactivate comment sections so you can't respond to them. It's I've got nothing. It is boggling my mind. It has broken me. Thinking about that, it's about as conversational as a bomb through your front window.
Like, I don't know why you're blaming me for this shit. And every now and then you get some gutter snipe moron who posts some shit about you who you've never even heard of. And that shit just lingers for a couple of hours or a couple of days even. I don't understand why this feature is allowed to exist. It reminds me of when Tony Blair said the Freedom of Information Act is like someone giving you a mallet to annoy you with when previously they had a stick. And that's what this is. Except I didn't even give them the mallet. They just showed up with it one day because YouTube thought that giving everyone their own special mallet was a great idea.
This goes back to these things used to be gated off behind a certain level of building your channel up. And now everyone can just get these things for free straight off the bat. Whereas the only thing now that's closed behind subscription and watch hour counts is the monetization. And the thing is, the reason that the monetization thresholds were put in place in the first place was because of when it came down to sort of jihadi beheadings being uploaded to YouTube all those years ago. They started putting in things in place because they didn't want these organisations to just create a channel to upload a beheading and then just disappear, and also turn monetization on so they get a couple of bucks off of it. Whereas now we're slipping back into that. People are getting access to the ability to put things up from day one. A thing that YouTube seems to be moving away from, but now is moving back to. The only thing that isn't there now at day one is the money making side of it.
I honestly think that either my previous idea that people should be able to moderate community posts that involve them should be implemented, or alternatively, I think some people should not meet requirements for a community tab post or a community tab at all. I think that if enough people have reported your community tabs,
you get it taken the fuck away from you. Like if you drive your car too fast, twice and get enough penalty points on your license, you get it taken away and your car gets turned into a nice little metal cube that you can put in your front garden. Maybe they could do that with the computers that belong to these fannies.
I don't think it's unfair that you should have it fucking taken away, or that people should have to earn it. Now, I don't think a subscriber count was necessarily the best idea, but it was at least a standard.
A gateway. I'm not sure. Like I say, the idea of having a channel built up should be at least a minimum gateway. Another idea would be paywalling it behind YouTube Premium, so that way, if you fuck up, YouTube's got your address, your credit card information, all of that shit. So it encourages people to think a little bit more before they post.
It meant that you had to have some form of success sub-botting on the platform to get there. Now these channels just appear overnight, have 9 subscribers and no videos, and just endlessly schizo post about random people who honestly don't even know who they are because they pretend to be someone else. This is where we're at. Now, I don't think a subscriber count, as I said, is the best idea, and the reason why is because it doesn't mean anything.
You know, it's got me to thinking, how many of these fake Mr. Beast profiles or PewDiePie profiles have gone up with 0 subscribers, but they have the logos and the name on them, and they tag more gullible YouTubers and essentially get involved in phishing scams, saying, "Oh, congratulations, you've won a Ferrari." I know this is the most cliche thing that I could think of. You've won a Ferrari. How's about you send over to hb9k47@outlook.com all of your name, your address, your phone number, your credit card information, you know, the sort of details that you should never give to a stranger online. I wonder how many cons and scams like that have happened on the platform, and how many of them have gone unreported because the person who fell for them just feels like an idiot. Now, the thing is, I don't think that victim blaming in a situation like that is necessarily the right thing to do, but I do feel that a lot of people are not very savvy, not street smart when it comes to how to act and behave online. And that's how they fall into these traps. That's why scammers exist, because there are marks out there that can get scammed, and it just takes one for them to make a decent payday. You know, it's quite worrying how dark this community tab thing really is, and how deep this could potentially go.
But I do think that some standing in the community should exist before you have a community tab.
Agree.
I honestly think that the community tab should be reflective of the fact that you even have a community to speak to at all, and I also think it should be reflective of you as a person.
It's something that should be a privilege to have earned, not just a right to have.
Because quite frankly, I would not give a single one of these people access to a pen and paper, never mind the ability to broadcast across a potentially infinite audience.
Pen and paper in the wrong hands can cause quite a lot of damage. It could stab you with a pen and try to paper cut you.
YouTube came out with some bad ideas over the years, but the longer since it's happened, the more I think that YouTube Heroes, as awful as an idea as it was, might not have been the worst idea I've ever heard.
Years ago, when spam and scam was running rife across the platform, I used to quite often contact someone who, by the name on Twitter, was called Trusted Flagger, and they actually seemed to actually do something about it. However, nowadays it just seems to be at Team YouTube, and at Team YouTube just seems to have this bot thing that links you to online articles, which, in all honesty, isn't very helpful. We need action, not things to read.
If it was implemented well and some people with actual standing on the website were given the ability to moderate and do YouTube's job for it. I've sent a few passive-aggressive ones at this point because I'm just so sick of this. I'm so sick of it just being blatantly ignored by YouTube. But apparently, yeah, I have to lump it, but if I dare say anything mean about any of these fucking people, when they say shit completely unproven and say absolutely rancid things day in and out without a single need to justify themselves, I'm apparently worthy of a strike and I have problems on my end.
You've endured years of harassment and bullying from these people, and you turn around and you say one thing against them, and then it's your ass on the line and you're the one getting into trouble for it. It boggles the mind. It makes no sense. It's nuts.
Okay, sure. I hate this platform, and the second that there is a viable competitor, I'm out.
That's the thing, I'm really not sure about how another platform is going to look or materialise. It would have to be one of the larger companies that comes up with it. Maybe Amazon could do something that sort of bolts onto Twitch when it comes to video curation, or maybe a large company like Microsoft could come along and do a video making platform. But I think with the lessons that all of these companies have learned with watching YouTube fumble about through the press and generally be sort of knocked about with the Logan Pauls and the Suicide Forest things that have happened to YouTube over the years, I think that the other platforms can say, we don't want to deal with that shit. We're just going to stick to what we have at the moment, which is good enough for us.
I'm fucking out of this platform and I'm going somewhere else. This platform can eat a dick.
Okay.
And the little cat vibrates away into the lawn. It's been a while since I followed someone into war, but I do think that Professor Curious's video is... It's a really good take, and I do think that YouTube should really sit down and have a think about these @mentions and community tabs. Like say, we've sat there and listened to a man who has been harassed and bullied using @mentions, and we've seen the community tab posts there against him, and this has been going on for a long time. And whilst to him it's probably more of a nuisance, more of an annoyance, you know, it's not the sort of thing that would upset him, but at the same time he doesn't deserve to be spammed like that. And I know that different angles, reasonable minds can differ. Some people might think, well, these people don't give them attention with a video, but at the same time I feel that him speaking out like that is a good idea. It's good for visibility of the problem and the issue, rather than just him continuing to sit there and take the abuse, take the harassment, because these people clearly will not back down. That's why when I watched that video I thought I want to do a reaction to that, because it carries on like a sort of sequel to the things that I said in my own video several months ago about these @mentions being unlocked to everyone on the platform. Like, I don't think it's necessarily a good idea, but time will tell. Let history be the judge, and I think now, sitting here about 18 months in the future, time has told and history has judged. And I think that judgment is that these @mentions are a god-awful fucking idea. Anyway, if you made it this far into the video, I'd like to ask you to go to Professor Curious's channel. If you enjoyed the video that you just saw, as well as the gameplay, feel free to subscribe to him. I'm sure he would appreciate getting a few numbers off of this. And as for numbers as well, if you liked me and enjoyed my spicy commentary, feel free to subscribe, because my goal is to get 2024 subs in 2024. So that would be a nice goal to achieve. Feel free to subscribe. You can like and dislike as well, comment and stuff. And I'll catch you next time. See ya.
Okay.
Professor Curious is a fucking spurg.